What was the most disturbing thing you saw in person? ER nurse, trauma code on a middle-aged gentleman who wrecked his car, basically dead on arrival and didn't make it. The ambulance that dropped him off had to do a speed clean of the bloody gurney to rush out to another call immediately. 30 minutes later it brings in an old lady who had fallen at home. She kept saying she can't get a hold of her son and he was supposed to take her to the hospital. Turns out her son was the one who wrecked his car on his way to take his mom to the hospital, and she was brought in on the same gurney that her dead son was just laying on moments earlier. That was a gut punch having to tell her the bad news. This was in a rural community with limited ambulance service. When I was about 9 years old, our family was staying at a campground on a river in northern Michigan. A 2-year-old boy had wandered off and was missing. The entire park was looking for him. After about 2 hours with no luck, some of us began looking in the water at the ends of the docks nearby. When I dove down in about 4 of water, I found him floating just off the bottom of the river. I pulled him to the surface and shouted for help. The EMTs made an effort to resuscitate him. To no avail. As horrible as that was, the thing that I will never forget was the sound his mother made when I carried him ashore. I still enjoy boating and swimming, but I have a very healthy respect for the water. About 8 years ago, I working as a train conductor, my locomotive engineer and I hit a young woman with an 8,000-ton freight train traveling 40 miles per hour. After applying the emergency brakes, it was my job to get out and visually check to see if we indeed had an accident. I found her contorted body in seemingly impossible ways near the side of the tracks. I radioed 911 to my dispatcher and emergency services were immediately called. She unfortunately passed away not long after the ambulance arrived. One time I was having a sleepover at my friend's house, and she died in her sleep. Waking up and seeing her was pretty disturbing. An elderly man on a bike get hit by a truck. I had to hold his head together with my shirt to try and stop the bleeding until the ambulance came.